welcome back. Let me tab back in. Yeah. It's the Astronomer's Tower, otherwise known as the last place I've actually seen. I'm so excited. I'm so excited to finally get into all the new stuff with you guys. All right. So first, let's solve this puzzle.
A mechanical solar system? What would you do with it?
I would look at it.
Well, let's do it then.
Wait a minute. Earth in the middle, sun on the outside. How old is this thing?
Extremely. If it's that kind of one. Alright, so I have already done this puzzle. So I'm gonna do what I can to get back through it literally as fast as possible. No, yes, I see. This is what we're looking for. I have to align the planets so that their shadows match the outlines. You get it. You're smart. And cool. And you also like jazz, right? Good. Because there's a hell of a lot of it here. Yep. There we go. Look at that shit. That looks so satisfying.
That's the one.
Hey, not bad.
I'm glad I did not spend as long as it on this time as I did last time, because I'll tell you what. That would have been a whole episode.
There's a little hatch underneath. What's in there?
A bunch of paper. Looks like somebody's research.
Ooh. Golden beetle. Well, if we are to believe the rumors about this golden beetle, and whoever and someone might be looking for it, whoever has hired Hawkshaw. I don't know, I feel like it might have to do with the man that's in this room, and might have to do with planets. I don't know. We haven't even talked to him yet. No need to make any further assumptions about beetles. Not right now.
Shh, listen. Do you hear them? The stars. They're whispering. So quiet, and yet so loud.
What are they whispering about? Are they spreading rumors about us?
Yes.
I shouldn't think they concern themselves with such insignificance. We are but specks of dust, you and I.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
Could the speck of dust start by telling me his name?
Yes.
You find yourself standing in the astronomy tower of one Professor Percival Pointer.
Cool.
Seems like this tower belongs to the Pointers, and the other one belongs to the Fellows.
Well observed, my dear. Tangle Tower is something of a duality as it happens. Meaningless boundaries, really. They exist only in our minds.
Yeah.
Helpful.
Yeah. Why do you have a roof on your head, sir? Well, he's definitely good at pointing. That's for sure.
Me? Not much to say. Strictly speaking, I'm the current head of the Pointer family. And of course, father to my precious Poppy.
And a professional astronomer?
Oh no, that's just a little hobby. I mean, yes, I've studied the stars for over 35 years, published 17 books.
Just a little hobby.
Just a little.
Sounds like you're quite
Yeah.
well known. You must bring in a good amount of money.
Oh dear me, no. My field of research has never yielded any kind of stable financial return. Nor would I expect it to. I am nothing but a humble interpreter for the cosmos, working to translate its message so that I may share it with the world.
Cool.
Get a load
Tell
of
the
this
Cosmos
guy.
I say hi.
Fucking get a load of this guy over here. He should be pointing up at the next person. I want to get a chain going of that. Shit. I need to get better at video editing before I figure that out.
The day began as any other, with blissful, unremarkable routine. I took my usual morning walk around the gardens. Fresh air does wonders for the mind.
Yeah.
Did you see anyone else?
Penelope and Fitz were in the greenhouse together. I didn't bother them, of course. I sat for a while beside the
Okay.
pond in the garden. It's a favorite spot of mine. Eventually, I returned to my tower and buried myself in my studies for the afternoon.
Did you use your telescope yesterday?
Once the stars began to appear, naturally.
For how long?
Okay.
I can't say. I've been known to lose hours at my telescope.
Did you see anything?
No actual discoveries, if that's what you mean.
So you were all alone up in the astronomy tower. Must have been a while before you found out what had happened to Freya.
Quite. Normally, I would be the last to find out about such a thing. But a curious tug of fate led me towards the fellow tower later that evening.
Okay. What does any of that fucking mean,
I
dude?
was at my telescope for the majority of the evening, but at one point I returned to my desk to look something up in a reference book. I couldn't find the book I wanted, so I figured Fiona must have borrowed it. I left my tower and headed down towards the Grand Hall. I spotted Detective Hawkshaw coming out of the library. She looked impatient and slightly frustrated.
Same as ever then?
Quite. I passed her by and went upstairs to Fiona's room. The door was locked, but I could hear shouting coming from inside. I recognized Fiona's voice as well as the voice of my own daughter. I had no desire to invade their privacy by eavesdropping, so I waited for them to finish and come out into the hall. Before I could ask about the book, Poppy grabbed my hand and took me upstairs along with Fiona. It was apparent that both of them had already been crying about something. We went up to Flora's tower. Freya was laying on her back, right in the middle of the room. Flora and Fitz were already there. They both looked stoic as ever. Felix and Penny arrived shortly after we did, and then Fiona went downstairs with Poppy for some reason. I quickly decided that I should leave also. I took Penelope with me, and we both went back to our rooms in Pointer Tower.
Okay.
Why did you leave so quickly? Wasn't there anything you could have done to help?
Don't take this the wrong way, but the whole ordeal is fellow family business. I'm quite sure they don't need me getting in the way at a time like that.
Is it really getting in the way if you're offering to help? You guys live together, don't you?
This is supposed to be Felix, is it?
I think so.
I see he's afforded himself considerable artistic license. A very old statue indeed. I'd recommend you leave it well alone. The poor fellow's in bad enough shape as it is.
Sure. This guy's being strange.
Where on earth did you find that?
It was in a bush outside. I think someone threw it away.
How peculiar. Isn't the process of decay fascinating?
It's not really decaying. It's plastic.
It's becoming one with nature, all the same.
Shh.
Pointer property originally, purloined by the fellows.
Okay.
Typical.
Do you have problems with the fellows? Cause you have a lot of opinions about the fellows that the fellows don't seem to have about you, sir. That's all. That's all.
I find that painting to be in rather bad taste.
Oh, yeah?
The knife with real blood on it? The whole thing is rather vulgar.
It wasn't on...
Curious little thing, isn't it? Do you know what she keeps in there?
Nothing. At the moment. It was empty when we opened it.
How bizarre.
Can't a woman keep an empty egg in her room?
Fitz seems
I
rather
agree.
keen to grow things like this in his greenhouse, doesn't he?
What's wrong with that?
Well, you can't eat it. Makes you wonder why he bothers at all.
For the sake of science? Oh my god. I don't like you, sir.
A listless soul drifting through the ether.
What's wrong with her?
Not sure. She's always been troubled. Comes from a dysfunctional family. I'd say you could ask her about it, but I think you might find that to be a bit of a dead end.
Fuck you, dude.
He should learn to make the most of his lot in life. And he does have a lot in life.
You're talking about money?
Among other things, but yes, he currently has agency over a small fortune. That is, if he hasn't already squandered it or lost it.
You two don't get on?
Oh no, we're
You're
the
jealous of his
best
big
of
cock.
friends.
You're jealous of his big cock, aren't you? Is that what the other things are? Is that how tiny your PP is compared to his massive, massive schlong? That's just like literally what it sounds like. I'm sorry, that's immature. I need to get back
Yes,
to the
the
investigation.
heiress of Tangle Tower. Goodness knows what'll happen when she takes charge. I dare say she'll confiscate my telescope and replace it with a microscope.
She doesn't seem to be
Ha
the type
ha.
to impress her will on others.
Still, keep an eye on her. Dangerously intelligent, that one.
You sound jealous. Wait, are you two science rivals?
Oh no, we operate on very different wavelengths. Literally.
Does that make you feel better?
Hard to read, that one, but she seems to know what she's doing.
She's kind of mean.
You know, I simply assumed all detectives were sharp, rigorous, and thorough. Then, of course, I met you.
Okay.
Nobody could deny her talent. She was remarkable, artistically gifted, but also highly intelligent.
Uh-huh.
Those two things aren't mutually exclusive, you know.
Was she ever interested in astronomy?
I don't think she was. The fault may well lie with me for failing to inspire her. But I think she was captivated by more tangible things here on Earth.
That's
My
fair.
daughter
There's
loved
a lot
her.
here for it.
Fiona too. That said, in the last year or so, more and more I've begun to notice her by herself, wandering the gardens at the most peculiar hours. She must have explored every inch of the grounds 100 times over. Quite a restless spirit, I think. I'm surprised she chose to live at Tangle Tower as long as she did. What do you want me to say? He's the gardener.
He's a member of the family.
Yeah, but not the Pointer family.
Yeah.
What happened
That
to his
means
parents?
something to
Do you know?
him.
His father, Flint, is Felix's brother. Strange man. Don't think anybody knows what happened to him, but he certainly doesn't live here anymore.
What about his mother?
Emily? I've not met her. She never actually married into the fellow family. Her relationship with Flint was, it was short-lived.
Ooh. Okay.
I don't especially want to talk about myself. Introspection often leads to vanity.
Wait, does it?
Why don't we discuss the moons of Jupiter instead?
I'm not sure if we have time. Aren't there like 10 of them?
Yeah.
83.
What?
Yeah, we don't have time.
That was I like this. This game is good about the pacing and the dialogue that it
That's a
throws
very
out.
old book, isn't it? Looks like someone could have taken better care of it.
I like the look of a well-read book. Better than one that's never been opened.
Ah, well put.
So, we found some research. What's up with this golden beetle? Is this something you're studying?
I can't help you, I'm afraid. I think it must be something left behind by a previous inhabitant of Tangle Tower. I'm not the first scientist to ever walk these halls, you know.
Well, it wasn't in the halls. It was in your astronomy tower.
Okay, so he's definitely suspicious of looking for the golden beetle and is definitely the one who has hired Hawkshaw to investigate the place. But does that instantly mean that he's the one that murdered Freya, though? I think this game would not be very well written if that were the case. He just seems like way too obvious of a threat. So I don't know. This is, man, I didn't get this deep in a conversation with him last time. He's so elitist to his own brand and his own family. This is strange. I don't get why this man decides to fucking stay here. When he hates his roommates so much.
Here's a thought. Do you suppose the paintbrush could be the murder weapon? After all, it was found at the scene, right next to Freya's body.
I guess it's possible.
Fucking sure, but where's the blood? And also the paint is paint, not blood.
Not exactly a wealth of information, is it?
It's enough. So which one is Tangle Tower?
What's that?
There are 2 towers, right? Flora's tower and your astronomy tower.
Neither? Truly, I have no idea. You'd have to ask Flora.
She named the house?
The whole thing is a result of her squabbling with her family.
With Felix, you mean? Her husband?
No, her brother and sister, and her father.
Oh.
The Remington family was a rather tumultuous little unit, you see. But I don't think Flora has spoken with any of them in over a decade.
Fair. It's a vibe for sure. It's definitely a vibe.
It's too cloudy to see any stars right now.
It's also daytime.
Very to the point on that. I love it.
There's something kind of disappointing about this room.
Yeah. I'm ready. Okay. I will say, though, I can say that at least the jealousy that extends to the other side of the family, it, at least for once, does not seem like it's based solely in, like, him being jealous of the other dude's wife that he has. Like, it doesn't seem like he's, like, jealous of Felix because he's got a smoking wife and he's just like, fuck you. But I don't, I still have to figure out what exactly his deal is, because something's really off about him, like extremely off about him. I do not like his energy at all. Speaking of people's energy, I need to finally meet this person. One who everyone has been speaking of.
Are they paper lanterns?
Whatever they are, I like them. It's like a little parade of floating spirits.
This sounds very similar to the piano music.
Sheet music. It's handwritten.
That's a lot of notes. Looks pretty difficult.
Probably why they're on the floor.
Yep.
There's a faded mural on the wall.
When I was a kid, I never knew the difference between a mural and a mosaic.
You still don't know, do you?
No.
Oh.
Oh, whatever it is,
Love
it's
that.
playing a little trumpet.
Well, it is the music room.
Playing a little trumpet.
He's got to practice.
What's with all
Yeah.
the broken glass?
Ooh. Horn. The shiny statue of a strange creature holding a large horn. There's noticeable cracks along the length of the statue's horn. Inside the horn is on the ground below are various shards of cracked glass. I love that you can do this little zoomy thing on all of your evidence, even though it does not help whatsoever. It's good.
Smells like a forest in here.
1 old wooden bookcase.
Yep.
25 dry old books.
Mm-hmm.
4 lit candles.
Yeah.
Am I the only one seeing the problem?
Oh. That would be dangerous.
Are you a ghost?
Sally, that's rude.
Unless she is a ghost.
It may come as a disappointment, but I am alive.
Ah,
That makes you a suspect, I'm afraid.
I know.
what's your name?
My name is Poppy. I'm a pointer. And a pianist.
We'll need to ask you a few questions about Freya.
Got a lot of good alliteration going on in your life, babe.
Hey,
Sorry.
you're pretty good.
All in the wrist. And 13 years of dedicated practice.
Yeah, sounds about right. I can never get there. I have spent a decent amount of time on the piano, especially this year specifically, but no, I don't. I need like 24 more hours in a day to make kind of space for a hobby like that. Especially if I'm trying to be here doing this, you know. Gotta pick one. You guys or the piano?
I'm just me. There's nothing to know.
How are you related to the other pointers?
My father is Percival Pointer. The professor spends most of his time hidden away in his tower. Barely speaks to anyone these days. Especially not the fellows.
Do you get on with the fellows?
2 of them. Fifi and Freya are my closest friends. We all turned 19 last year.
Do people ever leave Tangle Tower? I don't mean to be rude. It's just, if you're 19...
You don't have to answer that, Poppy.
It's a fair question. I'd like to move away.
Uh-huh.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Fifi, Freya, and I would often talk about it, argue about it. Freya wanted to leave, but Fifi... Things are more complicated for her.
What about now?
After what happened, I really don't want to stay here much longer.
That's fair. I would want to go too, especially if you've lived here your whole life.
3.5 hours of piano practice. Soon as I wake up. Same as always.
3.5. Does that not hurt your hands?
Sure.
And you do this in the music room?
No, I prefer to practice in my room. When I make mistakes, I like to make them in private.
What did you do after that?
Fair.
I was supposed to meet Fifi in the library, but I totally forgot. When I finally got down there, she'd already gone. I checked her bedroom, but it was locked.
Was Fifi not in there?
No idea. She keeps her door locked either way. So I went back upstairs and out into the moonlight garden.
The what?
The little garden on the roof outside my room.
Was it just you up there?
Uh-huh.
No. Fitz came outside after a while. His room's on the other side. He's been teaching me about flowers.
I see.
So, did you talk to him?
Not really.
You ignored each other.
I didn't say that.
Yeah. I mean, he doesn't really seem like he talks all that much. You seem like you enjoy silence, so I don't find that strange.
Fitz and I were up in the moonlight garden most of the afternoon. Then we heard this sound. Lasted about 3 seconds. I've been trying to decide how to describe it, but I'm struggling. It was like something drilling into a piece of metal, but different. Worse. I was pretty sure it was coming from Flora's tower, so we went up there to check. Her door was locked. Nobody was answering. I knew Freya and Flora were both supposed to be in there, so I made Fitz kick down the door. I went inside. Freya was lying on the floor.
The noise.
Flora was in the room too?
Yeah. I think she realized what had happened at the same moment I did.
The noise,
didn't
the
know
noise,
what
the
to do.
noise.
So I ran downstairs to get Fifi. Her door was still locked, but I knocked and shouted at her. Eventually she let me in. The lights were off, but I could see she'd already been crying. I told her what had happened. She didn't believe me. She got angry. First time I've ever seen her angry. I dragged her out into the hall. My father was there too, for some reason.
Uh-huh.
The 3 of us went back up to Flora's tower. Then Felix arrived. He had Penny with him. Fifi had this idea. She wanted to do some kind of scientific test. She took me down to the library. We were in there about 15 minutes. After she was done, she went back upstairs and I went back to my room.
That's it?
That's it.
Okay. Thank you. I have some questioning to do, though. I'm sorry.
Needless noise from tongues expel, unless within the mouth they dwell. The spoken word, unfit for dealing with the shifting form of feeling. Stand unblinking in the face of taciturn and soundless space.
Okay.
Foregone drifter, holding fast. Days a shadow seeker past. Is it bravery or surrender? Accepting that your world will render nothing darker than the gloom. Some four walls make round a room.
Yeah. It's, you know, I don't know. It's tough to say, and I mean, I think it's especially easy to see that here, considering how hard how differing the opinions people are of Felix so far. But like, that's, I don't know, if your life's passion is to travel and discover and find things, like, I get that settling down is hard, even if you do have a lot that you're settling down with. It's against, like, your base nature as a human, in that case. But at the same time, I mean, like, if you find those people that you genuinely feel like you want to make that change for, you have to choose not to resent them for that. You can't resent the people that you give up your truth for. Otherwise, what's the point, you know? What's the point of all of it?
Between the lips a silver spoon, a story written all too soon. The chosen dwelling of her heart, unjustly chosen to depart. Lost her liberation lays in the center of a maze. Softly does the flower grow, all in time, and time is slow. Rest a seed within the earth, but do not rush its gentle birth. Hour by hour, day by day, tune your heart to nature's way.
Nice.
Hard of head, but free of mind, unimprisoned, unconfined. With starry eyes, she sees beyond, behind our walls, beneath our pond. A soul untied, it's hers, it's free. Was then, is now, will ever be. With surging tide, the waves are thrown, an entity of all its own. But on its surface you may see, reflected in the waters be, the orchestrator, pale and still, pulling strings, enacting will. Eavesdrop what the stars are saying, earthly tether, slowly fraying, floating, helpless from the worst of jealous hunger, selfish thirst. Take a moment, kneel and meet the flowers growing at your feet.
Yeah, fucking respect your children, dude.
That's me. I'm on a list of murder suspects. Always thought that would be kinda cool, but it's just tedious.
Falls a little short, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, it's like, I think Sally was a murder suspect in one of the previous games. I think.
Don't look at me. I didn't break it.
Does anybody else use the music room?
Yes. I don't know who, but I can tell when somebody else has touched the piano.
What do you make of the statue?
I know that's the only harp in the whole of Tangle Tower. I've never actually seen a real one.
Maybe it's from before your time.
Oh, definitely. You see how old this statue is?
What about the symbols? One of them looks like piano keys.
Yeah, weird. This is mine.
Really?
No, well, yes, it was. I gave it to Freya about a year ago.
What was on it?
Nothing. It was blank. Freya said she wanted to record something.
Any idea how it ended up underwater?
Maybe someone wanted to destroy it, but got really lazy. There's
Maybe.
something I noticed about Freya's knife wound.
Hit me.
Yep.
From what we could tell, the blade went in at an exact right angle, perpendicular to Freya's body. And there's only one small pool of blood. Nothing on Freya's hands, or anywhere else. The whole thing is just a little too peaceful.
Don't give me a
Freya
word
would
like
always load up the
that.
palette
I don't
with all
like
the
that.
exact colors she was gonna need. I think it helped her zone out and focus on the actual painting itself. Like getting all your sheet music lined up before playing a long piece.
Yeah, fair.
Right. So the blob of black paint in the middle, that was for painting Flora?
Flora's dress, yeah. She wears even more black than I do. Oh, you've been to the greenhouse? What did you think?
Impressive, I guess. But kind of unsettling with Fitz lurking in the shadows the whole time.
Yeah, he does that.
Okay,
That
that's
belongs
not
to
just
Flora,
like
I
a
think.
today thing. Okay.
Whose paints are those?
They belong to Felix, I think.
You get some weird insects around here. I've never seen one like that.
I'm not sure anyone has.
Freya might have. She used to keep beetles in a box in her room.
Why?
For fun, obviously. It was my mother's originally.
So, why is it up in Flora's room?
She just gets the most use out of it. Freya would borrow it too sometimes.
I see.
Does this belong to you, Poppy?
Now that's not really my style, is it?
But who else would own a tape like this?
Literally anybody? Don't you think that's weird? That the letter isn't addressed to anyone? Or signed by anyone?
Someone's being deliberately secretive.
Or they're trying to manipulate you?
You know,
What was inside?
Nothing.
Huh.
So there are two families living in Tangle Tower?
Mm-hmm. 3 pointers and 5 fellows.
Yep.
4 fellows.
Oh.
What's the connection between them?
There isn't one. Not really. It was all built by the Remington family. Flora's a Remington, originally.
Yeah.
So was Primrose, my mother. She married
Oh.
into the Pointers, and Flora married into the Fellows.
Oh,
So
I
the
see. So
fellows
it
and the
was.
Pointers own the house now?
Flora owns the house. Depending on who you ask. That means her husband Felix owns it too.
What about your father?
His claim over the house kind of fell apart after my mother left.
Where's your mother now?
No idea.
Oh. I guess, okay, Penelope is not Poppy's mother. I think I have let that kind of slide from my information here. That is interesting.
When
Sorry,
I first
my
saw
work
it,
texted me.
I thought it looked like Flora was holding a knife with blood on the tip.
You don't think that anymore?
No, it was a stupid thing to say. The room was dark. I was in shock. I'm just an idiot.
But it was blood on the tip. If you hadn't said anything, maybe Fifi wouldn't have checked.
Exactly. It's stupid.
But we would have missed out on an important clue.
Is it a clue? Really? Tell me how it's a clue. Tell me how it helps. Nothing about the knife makes any sense. It's just freaking everyone out. Wish I'd never said anything.
Yeah.
All right. Poppy's bedroom is unlocked.
I wonder what's in there.
It's just giving me a really unnerving feeling. Especially after talking to Poppy now. Just don't really know what to think at the moment. I guess let's go to what looks like an apiary? Ah, aviary. My bad. That was close.
They're bird cages.
Burbies.
But the birds are coming and going freely.
Is that a metaphor?
Oh, it totally is. Check out that butterfly.
Looks evil.
Wow, judgmental. I don't like mirrors. They steal your soul.
How do you get your hair so symmetrical without using a mirror?
I do by weight. I can feel if one side is heavier than the other.
Huh? Yeah. Yeah, I bet.
My little writing desk. It's kind of cute.
There's nothing written in the book, although someone's torn a page out of the middle.
So something was written in the book, just not anymore.
Oh, just beautiful. What is it?
Huh?
Sort of a delicate jade, but with a little seafoam green, is that right?
Sorry?
Your hair, dear! Which shade do you use? It's lovely! And that shape, you're really pushing the envelope.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks. I do what I can to offset Grimoire's beige on brown ensemble.
Detectives don't need to be brightly colored. We prefer to blend into the background.
Oh, you're the detective? Delightful. Penny Pointer, pleasure.
Is that short for Penelope?
Officially, yes, but I never can be bothered with all 4 syllables of it. Penelope sounds a little ostentatious coming out of the mouth, don't you think?
It is a bit
sure.
long.
Yeah.
20-something, Aquarius, love to travel, and nearly all of my friends are birds.
Travel? Where to?
Anywhere at all, as long as it has species worth studying. Ornithology, they call it.
Mhm.
I call it the only thing I've ever been good at.
And have you studied the birds here at Tangle
Fair.
Tower?
But of course! Where else do you think I developed my love of the field? No matter where I go, I always find myself coming home to Tangle Tower.
Because of the birds.
Oh, no, because of him!
Uh.
Silly to admit, but I suppose I can't bear for us to be apart.
Who are you talking about?
Oh, don't you know? My fiancé, dear Fitz. He's not really the traveling type, you see.
Oh, it's Fitz.
Fitzfellow.
The very one.
You're engaged to a member of the Fellow family? That's interesting.
I'm not especially interested in whatever tedious feuding goes on between our two families.
Uh-huh.
Fitz and I find it much easier to stay out of it altogether.
I see. I thought you were married to the astronomy guy. Oh. Okay. That makes more sense. That makes a lot more sense, actually.
I awoke early and
But
headed
okay.
down into the greenhouse to see Fitz. He's always there. Crack of dawn, every morning like clockwork.
How come?
Uh-huh.
It's where he's happiest. That and he has a great deal of work to do every day. Watering, pruning, mulching, whatever that is.
Mulching.
With the work in the greenhouse?
Oh, no. I wouldn't dream of it. I'd probably break something.
So, you stayed with Fitz the whole day?
No. In the early afternoon, he went back inside. Rather suddenly, as it happens.
Did he say why?
He didn't. Probably just a touch of heat stroke, the poor dear. He's more delicate than you'd think.
Home.
What did you do after that?
Let's see. I returned to the aviary to feed my birds.
And how many birds are you responsible for?
Officially 4, but in truth it's more like 400.
Can they not feed themselves?
Of course. And they often do. But I think they just like the company. As do I.
Cute.
Sometime
All right.
in the
Tell
evening,
me what's going
I
on here.
left the aviary and headed back towards my room. But in the hall, I spotted Uncle Pointer heading down the stairs.
Uncle.
He was muttering something. Seemed a bit upset, the poor dear. I followed him down, but the grand hall was empty by the time I got there. Empty
Okay.
aside from Detective Hawkshaw, who was loitering over by the library.
But Hawkshaw said
I don't know
that-
what it was, but she looked a little lost. I inquired about the professor, and she told me he'd gone up the Fellow Tower. I ran up the stairs, hoping to catch up with him, but Felix appeared and blocked my path. For some reason, he was coming out of Fitz's bedroom. He looked rather lost, too. I told him I was looking for
Okay.
Uncle. He suggested we look up in Flora's tower room. We could see from the hallway. The door was off its hinges. I knew then
Uh-huh.
something was terribly wrong. A moment later, we were gazing down on the body of poor Freya. Uncle Pointer was there. Fitz, too, standing over in the corner with Fifi and Poppy.
What about Flora?
Of course, silent as ever. Uncle suggested we should leave. Give the others some space, you know. So he and I both returned to our rooms in Pointer Tower.
Okay. This edition of The Last Person is really just kind of mixing things up in my head even more now. This is awesome. To be honest, I have a lot.
We can get into
Yeah.
Penny's room now.
Now, like, right now? That's all the statements.
Let's go over them all.
Yeah. Yeah, let's do that actually. I'll do that and wrap this one up. Let's go. Oh. Oh, this is where we talk. Nice. Cool. I like these drawings. What the fuck do any of them mean?
That's all the statements collected. Let's run through them all to see if anything doesn't add up.
To see if anyone's been lying.
That too.
Yeah.
Fitz and I were up in the Moonlight Garden most of the afternoon. Then we heard this sound. Lasted about 3 seconds.
We thought it was coming from Flora's tower, so we went up there.
Her door was locked. Nobody was answering.
Oh,
So I
okay.
made Fitz kick down the door.
Poppy and I went in. Freya was right there, laying on her back.
I left my tower and headed down towards the Grand Hall.
But in the hall, I spotted Uncle Pointer heading down the stairs.
I vacated the library, but before I could begin my ascent, Professor Pointer appeared.
I didn't know what to do. So I ran downstairs to get Fifi.
I heard someone heading down the stairs, just outside my room.
Someone began banging on the door. I ignored it until the someone began shouting at me.
Eventually, she let me in.
I spotted Detective Hawkshaw coming out of the library.
He emerged from the Pointer staircase, crossed the hall, and begun up the fellow staircase. As I was passing through the front door, Penelope called out from behind me.
I inquired about the professor, and she told me he'd gone up the fellow tower.
Okay.
I told her what had happened. She didn't believe me. She got angry.
I thought she was playing a trick on me, so I punched her in the face.
I
Nice.
recognized Fiona's voice as well as the voice of my own daughter.
We left the room, and Poppy's father was waiting outside. He followed us upstairs.
I ran up the stairs, hoping to catch up with him, but Felix appeared and blocked my path.
Back in the hallway, I bumped into a very concerned-looking Penelope. She was heading up Fellow Tower to find Professor Pointer. So I escorted her.
Poppy left the room for a while. When she came back, she had her father with her, and Fifi too.
Felix and Penny arrived shortly after we did.
A moment later, we were gazing down on the body of poor Freya.
Yes.
And I took a sample of the red paint on the unfinished painting.
She took me down to the library. We were in there about 15 minutes.
I quickly decided that I should leave also. I took Penelope with me, and we both went back to our rooms in Pointer Tower.
I wanted to go back to my room, but I realized nobody had told Detective Hawkshaw anything.
An unremarkable hour passed before the gardener finally made his appearance.
I think she was annoyed about being made to wait outside so long.
Yeah.
But when I told her about Freya, she fell silent.
Okay. That
That's
is.
disappointing.
What is?
All the statements line up with each other.
They don't just line up. Some of them even seem to specifically confirm each other.
So everything does fucking line up, but that's because someone's probably lying. Shit. So all this really proves is that there is there's someone who's fucking lying to us then. Because if all of this is the case and all of it lines up, then fucking nobody is suspect. Well, here's the thing. Regardless of all the stuff that happened after this noise, that is what's being like the start of the timeline. The noise is probably what killed her. So I think regardless of what happens after, what's important is what happened before that sound. and what people were doing before that sound. That's all. Anyway, this one's running insanely long, but I just had some extra time and just have been really, really itching to get further into this. So, voila! Magnifique extra episode. Right on time. I'm gonna cut that out. That was bad. Anyway, bye. See you next time.